3GS games are exploding right now, and guess who's behind it? It's AI. And from crazy simulations to puzzles, these games are all over X. We see tweets pretty much every day or posts, and it's very interesting that now it is happening after the boom of apps. So we want to kind of just dive into it and explore the world of apps in games, look specifically games that are blowing up over the past, I would say, a few days, maybe a week.
Mhm.
Jason and myself prepared a few tweets that we think are notable, and some of them are funny, some of them are not as much. But yeah, Jason, let's start with you. I know you picked a couple of really cool games.
Yes, yeah. So we're checking around. Showing my screen right now. Yeah, there we go. We saw some people create some pretty cool stuff. We had someone here create this Flappy Bird clone. I don't know if it's easy to see.
Flappy.
Yes. So it's a pretty cool stylized Flappy Bird game. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Do you know?
again,
Do you know? Maybe you have like an idea why now 3GS games are exploding right now. Like, what's so special? Why 3GS? Obviously, it's like AI generated code, and LLMs are working really well with 3GS. And I
mhm.
guess like people just suddenly discovered that.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like a pretty sudden discovery. People, I mean, that's usually how some things like this happen. So one person basically experimenting, and then they post something, everybody realizes all of a sudden that they can do it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, clearly you can get really good results, and yeah, with probably not that many prompts. Especially, we've been streaming 3GS games and apps for the past months,
Yeah.
and it's just interesting that only now it's like picking up on X so much.
Hmm.
Also, I think your microphone is a little bit muffled. I don't know if anything changed, but it's just a
Maybe
little
it's
hard to
because it
hear.
was sound from the video. I don't know.
Oh,
How
I
about
see. I
you?
see. Yeah, we can hear the sound from the video, but
Okay.
fine.
No, I wasn't even trying to play it. It just other place.
Nice. Yeah, so that one is impressive. I know we saved a few more. Let me
Yeah, this one
see.
here. Pretty
Yep.
cool. It's in.
Yeah, this one's great. Can you full screen it, by the way?
Sure, I'll try and keep it muted. But
Yeah, let's keep it me. We don't need the. Yeah, that's actually pretty impressive. I wonder how they made um, the airplane, because I think it might be an asset. What do you
oh yeah,
think?
no, it for sure is assets.
Okay.
Then they uploaded the asset to whatever they're using right now, and then they just you can tell that the environment is probably built with simple geometry by just asking the whatever
Yep.
AI they used to
Yep.
make it
So
look
the
like a
only
road.
asset, yeah, the only asset is the airplane, and it's
Yeah.
likely just like a picture from Google search, and then you can upload into some 3D asset maker, and it just made the airplane out of it.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
that, or it could even be a model that was made by someone too.
Oh yeah, or like existing model. Well, the reason I said that's Google search because it actually says Emirates, so that's like some
Oh
like
yeah,
existing airline. So I'm like, okay, why would someone make a model of specifically
yeah,
that
I
airline?
understand.
Yeah. Also interesting, like that it's not censored. Um, like why it's not in the center? Like the whole game is a little shifted to the left. I don't know.
Mm.
That's cool though. And we also have a few tweets that went viral that are actually not 3JS games, but
Yeah.
people are taking advantage of the trend, and I think you should also do it. So, for example, this guy says like, "Vibe coded this game this morning with 0 code edits." Like,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we know this is not 3JS. Like, there's no way. Do you know what game it is, by the way, Jason?
It's Elden Ring. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
Must be. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to be wrong, but this is clearly not. um, yes, clearly not 3JS. There's another fun one that I could be the flight simulator one. Um, if you have it open handy,
Oh, sure.
the one where a guy literally is flying on a plane and says, "After a short Sunday nap, I vibe coded this flight simulator in 40 minutes." And this is a video of an actual airplane, guys. You can see that, but
Yeah.
people are not even like trying to question it. As long as it says ultra realistic flight
Yeah.
simulator
What's
cursor.
so realistic?
Yeah,
Awesome.
like this is amazing. This is just such a great clickbait. But you can tell by at least looking at the screens of the airplane. I know you probably the video is a little choppy because Jason is sharing it. But
Mm,
yeah, this is clearly an actual video because you see flickering of the screens, and that's what happens when you film with pretty much anything. So, yeah, that's hilarious. And then another one is a soccer game. Gosh, also
mhm.
like there's no way it's threeJS, but vibe coded this football game with threeJS, like absolutely impossible. And also, some people say football, some people say soccer, but
Mhm.
in the US, this is soccer. Like, oh my god, it is funny though. I find it really funny.
Hmm.
So in reality, you can make pretty impressive games, and I think Jason, you have one of the games you shared with like pretty cool water, like some sort of water simulation. Do you have it somewhere?
Water simulation. Which was that?
I think you shared it with like really cool water, if like just like a boat. I think.
Oh, something somebody vibe coded. Oh yeah, I think I do have that. I didn't actually get it ready for this, but I can quickly get it.
Oh, I think I found it.
You found it
So
already?
3J's Water Sim. Yeah, I think that's what you
Yes.
called it. I can actually share it myself, I guess,
Sure.
real quick because I have it handy. Um, so yeah, this one, and I mean, this is pretty cool. I'm impressed because this is clearly 3JS, right? So, Jason, what do you think?
Wait, I don't think I see it yet.
Oh, you don't
Yes.
see it? Um,
Oh, now I see it. Yeah. There you go.
mhm. So, do you think this is 3JS?
Oh yeah, it could be just that. Yeah, for this, what you want to have is that you want to have a ready-to-go water shader that you probably will tell the whatever AI they use to use. Like, because again, it'd be hard for to vibe code a shader that looks this good.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you know your stuff, right? So but it's fine because what you can do is find there's plenty of already existing really high quality shader assets. You just drop the code in for the LLM to use. I don't know what they use to make this, but and then after that you start iterating on it with like the ship and the trees and the islands and stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it looks pretty much endless. Like the map is endless.
That might be.
Um, but yeah, no, looks impressive. I love this. Um, I know that Hugh Jason also made something recently that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
And it's as well 3JS, right?
Yes.
All right, let's actually take a look at that one. Oh
Okay.
wow. Okay,
Was that
I
the?
haven't seen this one. Okay,
Oh,
I
you have
thought
not?
of a different one. Gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah, made this Desert Dune Explorer. You got to fly around with your ship, get the gems, endless dunes, or endless dune. I don't know. Yeah, pretty much
Right.
it's an endless environment that expands the more you travel. You're supposed to go get these. It has like boosting. You can go up and down if you want.
Mm-hmm.
It has yeah, get the boost going. We also have like other ships you can use.
Whoa. Okay, Jason, when did you make this one? I'm genuinely impressed.
This was yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you can be honest. How long did it take you to vibe code this?
To get the right now on the ground, it uses the material for the sand.
Hmm.
Importing like the material to make like the sand look good and importing the ship assets took 5 minutes,
Hmm.
and then to get the ship to fly around actually took like what 3 prompts, so 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then I spent it, and I then spent like the next like what like 90 minutes, 2 hours making all the effects and everything look cool.
Yeah,
I
well,
really spent too much time, but of course like, I was just polishing. I wanted to look cool.
I really love the interface as well. So how'd you make the assets? Did you use some of the websites for 3D assets or?
Yeah, exactly. I found some cool Creative Commons assets for the ship,
Hmm.
and for the ground, there's some like Creative Commons text like materials. Materials are pretty much like it's like a texture, but it's like
Hmm.
more advanced than a texture. It's like a texture that has stuff like there's you could see that there's like indents in the ground and things like that. That's from material because it can have more basically special details that just a texture on its own might not have. So I just found a bunch of Creative Commons ones online, like just import into the game. But other than that, other than the ship and that texture, yes, everything else is made in the game. Like these crystals are created in game. The effects for the boosting created in game. The
Hmm.
sky is a shader.
Nice. Someone is asking name, and I assume the name of the game.
You know the game?
So, yeah, how can anyone find the game? Um, Desert
It's called
Dune Explorer.
Desert Dunes Explorers. But I can
Okay.
like share the link in the chat.
Yeah, you can actually send it to like our YouTube chat, I guess. Or
Yes.
you can share it to me somewhere and I can just reshare. Um, yeah, this looks amazing. Wow. Yeah, assets make a huge difference for any game to look actually AAA and really polished. So um, take time, figure out the assets. And also, I'm impressed that there's a shadow that looks really similar to the actual ship. So I guess
Yeah.
shadows are related to the assets, so they're not like separate.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because basically what you add is that you add a lighting system to your game, which can again on Rosebud it's pretty easy. Just ask Rosie to, I want my game to have shadows. I want the lighting to be good. And now there's like a whole system where whatever you want to cast shadows and be actual 3D physical object will then cast nice shadows like this.
Wow, that's awesome. Um, well, here you go, guys. This is also vibe coded using threeJS and
Hmm.
a functional game within an hour. Would you say? Is it
I'd
that?
say for this full game, it was like 2 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Okay.
For the basic flying around with this in the sand dune was like what 20 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just polished it. Like there's lots of visual effects I added to this. I also added like a whole mobile control suite. So if I make the window smaller, like the mobile controls, I don't know if I could do that right now. If it'll mess up this the stream.
Wow, that's
If you
amazing.
go on mobile, it's like a joystick and everything. It also works.
Nice. I realized that we didn't actually talk about what is threeJS, and maybe you
Okay.
can give like a brief overview on what is threeJS for those who actually never, heard of it before.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So 3JS pretty much is there's like a lot of detailed ways you could talk about it, but pretty much the summary is that it's basically a way of you being able to add 3D to your like web projects. In your web
Mhm.
projects, most web projects are not 3D, right? They're only 2D. If you go to a website like YouTube, you have like a flat interface, you click buttons to do things. But if you want to have 3D inside your website or
Mhm.
app, you need to have something called a library. And library is like basically is like a bunch of code that takes care of things for you that you don't have to do yourself. So if you want to add 3D to your project, which whether it's a game or an app or a website, you need to use a library like threeJS, which gives you a lot of power to add 3D things to your game. 3D rendering, lighting, everything. Yes, you don't have to worry about how you actually make that work because threeJS will take care of it for you. And
Yeah.
all you need to do is then supply the assets or tell the AI you're working with how to use threeJS. Can you please add this to the game? And then the model's like, okay, threeJS has a bunch of tools to add a ball to the game. So I'm going to use threeJS's tool that allows me to add balls to the game or add a car to the game, etc. And then there you go. So basically, long story short, it's taking care of 3D in your app or website, etc.
Yeah, and I think that is also a huge kind of help for LLMs and AI to create games that are 3D in browser. Something that was probably not really possible even like a few years ago at this level. And I guess 3JS is also evolving and getting better. So there's some, you know, simultaneous progress.
I mean, it's a good point because, like, yeah, 3D in the browser is getting kind of crazy with how high quality. So people are getting like their in-browser projects, like stuff that's running. Not downloading anything. You're going to a website,
Yeah.
and then there's a game in the browser, like running on like a website that looks as good as like a AAA game. People are
Yep.
trying to make stuff like that. Yeah, it's getting kind of crazy. So it's a great time if you're interested in making games. It's a great time because the actual 3D engines like 3JS or whatever are getting so good that your game might just look like a AAA game even
Yep.
though it's not downloaded. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Nothing has to be downloaded. It's all browser based. You can just send a link to someone, and it's gonna play in most browsers, most smartphones. You have if you have touch controls that you can also add to your game. Um, yeah, so it's pretty amazing. Jason, this game looks incredible. I really love the interface. Like that's just so good looking. Did you use some like secret prompt like style of the interface? Oh
No,
wow,
I
it's
Rosie.
night now.
Yeah, there's a night cycle. I turned the time to 20x so it goes faster so you can actually see nighttime.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, in the game, like the actual interface was iterated on with Rosie. I just said, hey Rosie, I want a interface that fits the theme. Then she made it green. There's like actually I wanted to have a color scheme that fits the environment and also make the font feel like actual like ship interface.
and she did all of that. Like Rosie's actually getting really good at UI. So if you have if you want to add UI to your game, definitely try out like just describe briefly the kind of style your UI will be. Describe how it should be animated, and Rosie will do it in a few prompts. And that because UI was done this in a few prompts. So
Nice. Do you think it's possible to make this one multiplayer?
yes, yeah, it is.
I think we might do just that. Because as a reminder, we stream every Monday and Thursday. And if you're watching us, you can actually join us on our Discord. And in the Rosebud Lounge channel, we're going to be hanging out in a few minutes. Usually, our power users or other creators of games and apps join us and we chat about their projects, games, and app creation. So, yeah, you can hang out with us and we're going to continue working on the apps. And from the other things, we actually have a game jam going with Polymars.
Yeah.
Polymars just published a new video for us. We worked with them before, and the video is about AI Mario Kart. I'm going to show you guys real quick. You can watch it on Polymars' channel. So it's Polymars plus plus, and it's super fun. So highly recommend. And to participate in the game jam, we have $1,000 of prizes. You can just submit your game within a month in the game showcase channel with the hashtag Polymars Jam, or we need to. I don't remember the actual hashtag, but you can see it in the video. So watch the video. You can remix the game that Polymars made, or create your own. And good luck. We are excited to see what you create.
Yes, yeah, excited.
All right, Jason, I'm switching back to your game because it just looks so good. I know some people, yeah, like I'm realizing that we're becoming so spoiled. Even like a year ago, this was something I didn't expect to see.
Oh
But
yeah,
now this is just incredible.
yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, like, this is again. It's a great. We're trying to stress that it's a great time to start making stuff
Yeah.
because if you look at how much progress, even just at Rosebud, what you can make if you go look talk to some of the power users who've been with us for more than a year,
Yep.
like their projects are getting crazy good because they just stuck with Rosebud and kept using the latest features, and now they can create crazy stuff. If you go
Yep.
on our trending page too, there's some of the top projects.
No, completely agree. All right, I think we should switch to Discord in case someone wants to join us.
That
Uh,
sounds good.
Again, we have a link in the description. It's called um, for the with the invite to Discord, and then you can join Rosebud Lounge channel where we actually hang out, and we're just going to continue from there. If you're interested, come hang out. We are going to be building. I'm probably going to be making a new game while Jason is adding multiplayer. We actually have a whole stream where we are adding multiplayer to one of the games, so you can check it out as well. But yeah, Jason's probably going to be able to walk through the steps again, which are pretty much self-explanatory through the connect to Superbase button we have. Jason made a great tutorial there where you can just also use it. All right. I will see everyone in Discord in a second. All right, Jason, you here?
Yes, I am.
We have a lot of games shared in the chat of this channel. So yeah, if anyone is interested in some games to remix or just try out, yeah, Rosebud Lounge channel became like a collection of everything we've made during the live streams,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool. Okay. All right, Jason, you're gonna share screen.
Yes, I am.
Nice. I'm not going to be able to share screen because I'm already sharing my screen for the stream. But I'll try to just create something in the meantime. But yeah, Jason, are you going to remix your own project, or are you going to start from kind of just continue working on the same one? What's your preference?
Oh, no, I'll remix it, yeah.
Okay.
Because, yeah, adding multiplayer to a game like this is big. Oh, actually, you can see the mobile UI. Anyway, adding
Oh, you have a mobile
multiplayer to a
UI.
game like this. Yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah. Basically, on smaller screens, it automatically triggers mobile UI.
Wow, that's amazing.
Rosie did a good job with that. And
Wow.
the game actually reduces in complexity too, so it looked a bit worse visually, but the performance is way better when you're on mobile.
Wow, this is so fun. I wonder if this can become like an actual racing game. But
Yeah, good. Yeah.
let's try out with the multiplayer, because multiplayer is just so fun. It makes your game so much more engaging, especially if you can send it to your friends and just play together.
Okay, yes, let's
That
try
would
it.
be major.
So
All right.
Dune, Desert Dune Explorers, multiplayer. Okay, yeah, so step one, use the connected Superbase button to get started if you want to make your own mobile game. Sorry, mobile game, excuse me, your own multiplayer game. But
Okay.
the first step is always to go Superbase.
Well, in the meantime, I remember you shared we showed the boat game. I'm gonna try to make my
Yes,
own boat game and see if this works.
sure.
All right. So you're going to Superbase, creating a new project, right? Superbase is the backend, basically a fancy spreadsheet that is going to keep all the information.
Yes, it is.
So, just your suggestion: if you want to have good graphics, most likely you need assets, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Do.
Okay. So you also mentioned that game with water. Did it use some assets for the water as well, or how do you make water?
Yes, yeah. But just to be clear, asset. Sometimes when people say asset, it can make people think of an actual 3D model. It doesn't always have to be a model. It can actually even just be a material or a texture that's being applied to things in your game. I've seen lots of games where they have a game made out of simple shapes. Like they have a forest that has a bunch of cones for the trees with like cylinders. But then when you apply like a tree bark texture to the cylinder, all of a sudden now it looks like a cool tree. But the actual shape is simple. Yeah, those actually count as assets too. It's not just you have to have for your game to look good. You have to have a tree model. You can actually still have the simple cone plus cylinder that Rosie might start with when you first prompt for your first tree environment or your first forest.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could then go to places there are many places online like Polyhaven and websites like that. You can just search up Creative Commons textures or free materials, 3D materials, and you'll find lots of resources online where you can just download a material, upload it to the asset tab, and then tell Rosie, apply this material to my cylinder, or
So,
apply
w-
this this to the water, etc.
what
Go
is
on, sorry.
what is a material? How do you make water from a material?
Yes. Well, for water specifically, for you to have water that looks that good, you want to use a shader, which is different than even material.
Hmm.
Shader basically is like code that makes things look a certain way in the game, and you then have like somebody who's like a shader or author, somebody who writes shaders all the time, who's really good at it, will write a bunch of code basically makes water look super nice. Then you then copy their code and paste it until a platform like Rosebud, Rosie, an AI like Rosie on Rosebud. Hey, please add water to my game using this shader, and then she will do it. But
Mm-hmm.
material, on the other hand, is different. The material is more like it basically is applied to a shape that already exists to make it have a certain surface.
Okay, cool.
So I want
So
the surface. Oh, I'm sorry.
so I need to find water shader code.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know
Yeah.
there's some free ones, right?
Oh yeah, there's tons of free ones here.
Okay. Cool. I've never done that before, but I'm definitely excited to figure it out. Okay, I know I'm interrupting you from adding multiplayer.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, I just created the project on Superbase, and I need to go back to Rosebud. And now the next step would be for me to actually, well, step one of making multiplayer is always to make the game first.
Mhm.
I recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to let Rosie know like this is going to be a multiplayer game later, but you don't want to like make the multiplayer at the beginning if you can avoid it. Like the reason why is that it's just basically if you're making a game and you tell Rosie you want to add multiplayer and then you change the game completely, you will have to almost restart all the multiplayer stuff again, and then you might have conflicting versions of your multiplayer from the old versus the new one. That's why it can be confusing. That's what, yeah. It's not honestly not the best to make your game fully and add multiplayer at the end either. But I'd say it's probably better, especially if your game's not that big when it's done. Yes, it's better to just add multiplayer after. I mean, the best case scenario is that you make the version one of your game, so it's not the complete game done yet, but it's the first version that you know. It's like, okay, this is a version. Like, I'm making a car game. I can have a car. I can drive. There are other drivers. We can drive. That's a good version one for you to go make multiplayer. You don't have to make the entire game. You have to add all the levels and the race track and the like ready steady go and all that stuff before I add multiplayer. But you don't want to like add it so early that you don't even have a car yet and or anything, and then you add multiplayer, and then afterwards when you add a car, you'll have to go and restart the multiplayer again because the game's too different from your original version. Not to be too confusing. So long story short, you want to have a version of your game where it's clear what the game's going to be, then you do multiplayer. So Rosie can actually give you good advice on how you should structure your multiplayer project.
Okay, that's cool. We have a comment from Jerome's Music and Art Studio. Hello, hi.
Hey,
Mhm.
how's it going?
Okay, so speaking of shaders and water, so I'm looking for shaders right now, and usually
Hmm.
these are packages of a lot of different files. Um,
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's going to be a little bit annoying because it's hard to get them all into get like 6 files and import them all into your project, right?
yeah, so but can I just import them as assets and then ask Rosie to use, or what's the right way?
Yeah, if you download it as one file, then yeah, you can upload it. But shaders usually it'll be like a snippet of, it'll be a bunch of snippets of code. Ideally, you want just one snippet of code so you can paste that direct one. Like
Mm-hmm.
a good example would be like Shader Toy. You go to the Shader Toy website, a lot of their shaders are like one file, so then you could just copy the code directly and just paste it for Rosie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me try to find that.
Yeah, Shader Toy is like a really good website for like shaders. Has all different kinds. People upload shaders there every day.
So okay, I think it is. All right, so I did find some incredible shaders.
Oh, you cut out a bit there.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying that I think I did find some shaders. Use this. Use.
Yeah, still can't hear you. Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
There you go. Yeah.
I can hear
Oh,
you
hey,
both
Sean.
too.
Amazing.
Hey Sean, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm kind of getting back onto the Rosebud train. You guys have definitely been inspiring me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, especially this Dune game, dude. I was really thinking like there needs to be like we need to take the open world stuff and just go a little further.
Right.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So, Jason, I want you to explain what you're doing right now because this is a pro feature we have where you can select different files that will be actually accessed by Rosie?
Yes, this is one of our coolest new features on Rosebud. What you can do now is that you can go to the code tab over here, which shows you the code of your project that's running, and you can now select what file Rosie can see.
Yep.
The reason why you do that is that once your project gets complex, it gets to a certain size of code, Rosie will stop being able to work on all the code at once. And this is a problem that happens across the board when it comes to any kind of AI powered platform. You can't just work on an infinite amount of code at once. So what we've allowed is that we now made it that you can then go and turn off files that you know that Rosie doesn't need to be working on right now. I'm not working right now on my touch control. Right now, my game has mobile controls, as you saw. Rosie doesn't need to work on mobile controls right now because I'm trying to add multiplayer. So things like vibration on mobile and time display and controlling time, these all also can just be disabled. Rosie can just forget about it for now and focus on the other things that actually need to be changed. And because of that feature, now you can actually work with your project when it's at a much larger size because she's not seeing all the code at once. So you actually might have in total lots of code that's too big to work with, but you tell Rosie only to look at a small subset of it at once. So then she's like, okay, I can only see like this third of the code anyway, so I'm still good to work with it. So that's pretty much it. It makes you be able to work with way bigger projects because you can kind of turn off the files. Well, not turn off, but hide the files that she doesn't need to focus on right now from her.
All right, that's awesome.
Yeah, right now I need to add multiplayer, so I need to make sure that my app.js and main.js, all these other my core files need to be enabled, since those are going to be working with multiplayer, whereas things like main.js, they don't need to interact with. Sorry, no, things like post-processing system, that's like the camera effects and stuff that makes it look nice. Obviously, it doesn't work with multiplayer, so I can just turn it off.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get back to it.
All right, so I'm trying to.
Project is pretty big. I have to ask one question. It's
Okay.
like, Jason, any tips for performance?
Yes, yeah. For the performance in this, actually, Rosie actually was very helpful. The performance on this is pretty good, but on mobile it was terrible. The performance, the game was lagging, like making it unplayable. So all I did was just ask, "Hey, Rosie, how can I optimize this so that it doesn't like lag, like basically make lower end devices and mobile devices like lag a lot?" And then she just started basically taking care of like, okay, we need to reduce the render distance so that the world doesn't load in as much.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my screen right now, I'm like flying around and like I can see the dunes in the back are like loading in as I approach.
Yeah.
Super cool. Good way to like kind of like Minecraft, like make
Exactly,
the world
yes.
smaller.
Yes, exactly. Minecraft's a good example. One of the most common ways people can get their Minecraft to run quickly and not lag is to reduce render distance. Like, how far should you load in the world from me? Is it only when I get close you will load it, or do you load when I'm far away? And the further away, of course, the more laggy the game will be, right?
Yep, I'm thinking a good option might be to have like a slider, and then you can change the render distance. So if you have a shitty laptop, it's still fine.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes. Yeah, probably the default version of this, like the desktop version of this game, is still probably too laggy. It's fine on my laptop, but even on like a lower end device, it probably is laggy. So you're right. Maybe just giving settings to people, and again, that would be probably like a one prompt change, because she's already implemented like the mobile version of the game, so she just has to just make the slider switch between maybe the mobile version, the mid, like somewhere between the two, and then the regular version, something like that. I think that's a good suggestion.
All right, Jason, I'm trying to add the shader I found on the toy shader toy website.
Yep.
So I basically copy the whole code, and I
Okay.
say, and I tell Rosie like, please use this code snippet as a water shader.
Yeah.
So that's roughly correct, right? That's all you need to do.
It should be. Again, Rosie might not have 100% success rate if the
Yeah.
shader is very complicated, but yeah, that's if it's gonna work, that's what you do.
Yeah, it hasn't been working.
No.
What?
It is insane how easily Rosie can add like entirely new creatures to your game. What the hell?
What did you add?
I added a big alien that's invading the planet.
Oh, okay. So Sean is also modding your game. That's fine.
Nice. What is that? It's cool.
Yeah, I want to make it like look a bit more like a UFO. All right, it's kind of there. I mean, it kind of looks like a jelly or something that I want to eat. All right. Well, the render distance thing is about to get fixed, so that's gonna be cool.
All right. So we have a Jerome saying, "I have a question related to multiplayer. Please let us know your question. It's all about multiplayer right now. Jason is working on it, so we're going to be able to answer right away." All right.
Oh, look at that! Yeah. All right. So I started the game at like the default render distance, and it runs really slowly on my laptop. So I just draw it all the way down. It says or equals better.
Oh, you can change
Nice.
the render
And now it's
distance. Wow.
nice.
All right, Jason, I'm switching back to you. What are you? What's your status right now on multiplayer?
Well, I'm just getting started.
Oh,
Great.
okay, got it.
Yeah. I just prompted Rosie that I want to add it, and now she's trying to make the changes to the systems to make it be ready. And she's doing it in steps, which is exactly what you need to do. So
Okay.
the first step is, real time. She's building representations of players visually. She added I used the snippet from the Connect to Superbase tutorial
Okay.
in step 3. It gives you a snippet that you need to a copy for Rosie. I just skipped to step 3 after I did step 1 because I know what steps are, but yeah. Okay, so the next step is create a multiplayer system class. I'm just saying, go ahead. And after doing these steps a few times, she should give us the SQL that we can run on Superbase, and then we're good to go. The SQL is like the SQL is the code that we can use to customize our backend
Nice.
app so it actually works.
All right. In the meantime, I think I found a shader that's only 550 lines of code. So let's see if that
Okay.
works.
Hopefully.
And what website do you recommend for assets?
For assets, I mean, display the pages, like I recommend itch.io if you want to say like a broad store. Yes, but for specifically, if you want to just get a place where you can easily find Creative Commons assets, Creative Commons is public domain. You don't have to worry about attribution unless you want to. Kenny is a good place.
Yep, I used Kenny
Kenny's
today.
asset. You use Kenny today, nice.
If you're building a 2D game, there's all kinds of it. So like my thing was want to make a game with like a. Actually, I can just show it. You check this out, Kura. So
Thank you. All right.
Today, I want to make a game, 2D game, where you are in an ambulance and you got to get these people to the hospital as fast as possible. But like a ton of people all over the road, so you gotta avoid them, right? And then what you have to do is also hit the shit that pops up, so you get points because like I gotta get there, but there's all this stuff in my way. So yeah, these are all just like free assets I kind of pulled from Kenny's website.
Nice.
Awesome.
It's nice.
So there's people, objects, background image. He has audio too. You can't hear it yet, but it's really like that's the place to go.
Exactly. Also 3D assets, yeah. So yeah, you can already see Sean's already making good use of Kenny stuff.
Kenny. Yep, it's all here. Assets. Here we go. Yeah, everything you want, man. Everything.
Nice. Okay, perfect. So Jerome actually asked the question for single player games. Can you make leaderboards? So
yes.
It's not a multiplayer, but you want to show different like leaders who played the game, right? Before.
Yes, that would require multiplayer. You just be adding multiplayer, a small multiplayer feature to your game, not making the whole game multiplayer.
Nice.
But yeah, you would need to basically set up a basic multiplayer in your game for you to have that.
That's cool. Okay.
Also, another great, one of my personal favorites for Creative Commons assets is actually Quaternius, which I'll put in the chat.
Okay. In Discord.
Fantastic assets.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's cool. I haven't used that yet.
Yeah, you should have get a chance. Fantastic 3D stuff. Very
awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I got the
3D.
spaceship assets. Yeah.
Awesome. This is just asking us to make games.
Mhm. Yeah, 3D watercraft kit. Wow.
Ultimate space kit. All right, I'm just gonna try this for like 10 minutes. Maybe I can add an alien to my game. Need the download. Thanks, man.
So, Jason, I have good news. I was able to actually
Mhm.
use one of the shaders. The question is,
Mm.
it seems like the shader is really like spaced out. I want to like make the water a little bit more dense. Do you know how to do that? Like, for example, looking at your game, you have the sand, and the
Yep.
sand is pretty like, kind of like,
Packed, yeah.
yeah. So, and I think my water is just so sparse that I like can't really see the waves.
Okay, yeah. So you could just say that the like each and does it look like it's tiled?
Hmm.
You say that maybe each section of water or each tile of water looks too big or looks too stretched out, and then Rosie should be able to infer what you need from there. Just make it clear it's too stretched out. That's the main thing.
Okay, all right. Let's try that. All right, so in the meantime, got some boats. Oh, yeah, I think it's looking better.
Okay.
Make them. All right. Oh, wow. Now it's a little crazy, though. Gosh. Okay. Yep. I think this is too much. It's funny. All right, Jason. So you're waiting for the implementation?
Yes, I am. So step by step to get multiplayer set up. So you're gonna like basically when you have a game that's this big, she's just basically gonna start like going through each of the systems of the game to make them be multiplayer ready, and then once they're all there, she'll then tell you to go run some SQL code on your Superbase database, and then after that, the game should be ready for multiplayer.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I am just so excited to try one of these the 3D models from this website for Turnius. There's this whole one. It's just like it just looks like it's ready for your Dune Explorer. I think you already maybe got the ships from it. This one's
Wow.
in the picture.
Oh, wow. Those ships are crazy.
Yeah. These are the ships I got. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sit there. So I want to get the enemies, the flying enemies. So I'm gonna replace this. Replace the alien scout with a 3D model.
Jason, question to you about the shaders. So, is there a chance for the shaders to react to the boat? Or
Ooh, that'll be tough.
okay, so that's a hard one. Got it.
The shader itself would have to have it built in.
Okay, so that's
It can, but like
that depends on the shader.
yeah, the shader would have to have it ready.
Mhm.
And maybe in the future we could get Rosie to be able to do that, but yeah, that's very difficult. Even shader writers, it'd be tough for them.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, what you need then is you need more like a water simulation kind of thing,
Also,
which you can do. Like fluid sim is used in games, right?
once again, fluid what?
Like there's fluid sims in games, like where like they're simulating what water would do in this scenario. Like, but that's different than just shaders, which is more just for visual.
I see. So for 3D assets, what's the best file to use? Oh, like format?
File type?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you want a GLB or GLTF, which are basically the same thing. They're a bit different. They have some nuances, or FBX.
Okay.
Yeah, one of those two. Yeah, well, three, but yeah, GLB/DLTF or FBX.
What is that thing?
What happened?
I got the 3D model in my game. What is that?
What?
Oh, wow.
That thing's freaking me out, man. All right, I want it to like follow me around. That would be cool. All right,
Jerome is saying thank you for answering. Jason, do you have any examples of a game where we have a leaderboard? Maybe we can just share like a name, or maybe Sean, you remember anything with the leaderboard?
Mm-hmm.
A multiple leaderboard.
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
The best thing I've seen is like achievement leaderboard and stuff, but it's just for like a single player.
Single player. Yeah, no, lots of games have leaderboards, but multiple leaderboard not. Yeah, but it won't be that hard to do. It's just nobody's done.
Yeah, I think actually there's YouTuber Tech Friend. He made a game like a skateboard game where you can when he has a leaderboard, and he used Superbase for that. So Jerome, I'm actually going to send you the link to that game in the description, in the chat right now, and yeah, try it out because it's very interesting. He made it, I think, like yesterday on a stream, so you can see how he did that as well. All right, I'm sending it right now in the YouTube. And then I'm going to send a link to his video. He actually streamed the way he was making it. So say hi. Because I'm actually going to share the game as well in the Discord chat. So for the history.
Yeah, this game is kind of big, but Rosie's like this. Being able to disable the files is saving me here. So make sure you use this feature once your project gets big, guys.
Yep. There's so many projects I made before that feature came out that I just had to give up on because like, it just got too hard to change stuff. So it's so cool that you can like now push things a lot further, and you get this kind of crazy Dune game as a result. Oh my god, the enemy alien is chasing me. I can see it shadow behind me. All right, let me get a look at this guy. I can go backwards. Okay.
Okay.
I see the monster. Oh my god, get away from me.
Also, Jason, so if you have assets in the assets tab, can you just say, Rosie, like, hey, use assets from the assets tab and just come up with something? Or it's not going to work?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, in fact, you can even just, you don't even have to refer to the asset tab. You can just say, use this. As long as it's named appropriate, like in a way that it's going to be clear what you're talking about, you'll be good, yeah. If you upload an asset called dog.fbx, you can just say, add my dog to the scene, and she's going to know what you mean.
Okay.
It's really one of the coolest parts about Rosie, honestly.
Yeah, the reason is I uploaded like a lot of different assets, and I just want to let Rosie figure out how to use them without me really like bothering.
Yeah, that could work, yeah.
So the other thing I noticed that sometimes you use a 3D model, and the asset looks just like dull, kind of like white.
Yeah.
With no color at all, or
well, kind of like some color, but not much, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Is there anything that can be done to like improve it, or that's just the nature of the asset?
If you know the asset already looks like has actual like vibrant color outside of Rosebud, and you add it to your Rosebud project and it looks dull, it's because of it's almost certainly because of the lighting in the game. You need to make the lighting in the game better. Yeah, because if the lighting is so important that people sometimes underestimate it. That you can make a really nice asset look really bad if the lighting in the game is bad. So you want to like make sure you spend time making lighting good first. Make sure things are bright enough. Make sure you have some nice shadows. Things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it could be the asset too. If you don't know the asset's actually like textured well. Make sure you verify that first, so you don't accidentally go and like spend too much time trying to make the lighting look good when it actually was the asset too. So
I see. No, so the assets I use should have colors, but even like when you
okay,
preview them, they're like kind of white. Yeah, but I think it's just the nature of the preview we have.
yeah, the preview might have bad lighting too. Actually,
Mm. Hi, Boots.
hey,
Oh, hey,
So-
Boots. Check out this crazy projects. It's this Dune Explorer thing is amazing. Got this alien right in front of my spaceship, dude. He looks so funny.
let me see again. What is going on?
Get off my butt, man. Get off me. Get off. Alright, thank goodness. Alien has no manners.
Hmm.
I bet. Okay. I want to make an alien manager so I can have more aliens.
All right, Jason. You seem to almost have the thing done. No?
Maybe. I mean, I'm just having some bugs right now, so gonna fix them.
Got it.
This will happen when you're adding multiplayer to a big game.
Yep.
Just make sure you keep telling Rosie whatever the issues are.
Makes sense.
Or is this like the code therapist, man? You just gotta like spill the beans.
Yeah, yeah.
So, also, Jason, I noticed that like all of the boats I added to my game, they all like facing the wrong direction. Have you had that issue? So basically, like as NPCs
Yes.
and as my boat, they all like moving backwards. And it's not just even character controls. I guess I can just ask to inverse, or reverse all the assets.
Yes. If you have more specific prompt than that, that'll be better. If you know they're facing backwards, then just say that they're facing backwards.
All right,
But
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
if it's
all boats are facing backwards. My problem.
Mhm.
So let's see if it works. Yeah, hopefully I'm going to be able to share with you guys some. For now, it's very raw. Wait, Daniel joined us. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
hello. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Pretty good. Playing around with some cool 3D projects.
Awesome,
Yep.
awesome.
Check it out. I got a big alien on my face. Just fly away from him. Good thing. But then if I turn around, he's chasing me. Go away. How about you? Got any cool projects?
So, hey, so this is my first time here. So this is a open discussion channel. How does it work?
No, we have like a really serious policy. You can only say things that we approve.
Only
Okay.
if it's about our projects, alright?
I'm
You have
kidding.
to
No.
approve the discussion first thing.
I have to sign off on anything anybody says before I can post it.
Oh,
True,
nice.
true. It's the AI expert.
Yeah, no. So this is a twice a week Rosebud Lounge where you can just hang out and chat to us, to other users, power users, creators. So
Awesome.
yeah, thanks for joining.
Cool. So, and let me see if I want to share something. Maybe I don't know. Are you guys doing something now or not?
Yeah, no. So Jason is adding multiplayer to his game he made yesterday. It's a really cool game. You can actually see him playing it right now.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I don't have my screen share. I guess. Let me check.
Yeah, you have to like
How easy is it to integrate
I see.
Superbase into a project?
Yeah, but right now I say it's medium difficulty. If you're doing a game multiplayer, if you're doing app multiplayer like chat, I'd say it's pretty straightforward. If you're not just a complete beginner.
Yeah, I think any multiplayer solution is going to be a bit difficult if you're looking at like lots of systems.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Ah, Okay,
I mean,
so I guess
syncing a
whenever you're
mouse with
integrating
someone
it
else is
into
pretty
it,
easy.
I'm sorry for cutting you off. I meant to say, if you are trying to get a multiplayer game, like what would be the easiest time to get it in there? Like what stage of your game?
Again, I say it's
Beginning.
this. Well, I was in the beginning. Yes, if you're doing multiplayer manually, I'd say so. If you're using a model like Rosie to do multiplayer, I would say after you have like the simplest version for V1 of your game. Try and think of what is
Yeah.
the version one of your game that's the most simple. Then do
Um,
multiplayer. Yeah.
With multiplayer, it's a bit different to the way you'd set up most apps. It's like most apps, you'll keep data stored within their actual objects and stuff. With multiplayer, you want to have like a giant state object that pretty much all data is stored in, so that it's all in one place and can be sent backwards and forwards between users. That's really the only difference, is most variables are global instead of private.
Yeah, that would definitely simplify the talking back and forth between different users.
Yeah,
And
it's
probably
just
the
one object.
updates across the systems.
Yeah. I mean, it means you're sending a decent amount of data regardless of, changes made on people's systems. So even if there's, only one variable changed, all variables are being sent through, but it does mean that nothing falls out of sync ever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Definitely keep that in mind. I kind of want to make like a Nitro type game, like a type racer thing. I feel like that'd be like a pretty easy start for the multiplayer stuff. It's basically an app.
Yeah, if you're just tracking like a position and like acceleration variables, that's so simple to do that I wouldn't even really call it trivial in any way.
Good. Perfectly speaking.
That's a pretty good way to work out like syncing issues too, because you're dealing with things that are moving at quite decent speed, so you'll see stuttering and stuff like that occurring, and you'll have to solve all that sort of stuff. But it's usually pretty simple.
One thing I am a little curious about then would be like, how are you going to like play test a multiplayer game easily? If you're a solo dev.
Yeah, I'd recommend just opening the game on a second device or opening it in even another tab. Although sometimes another tab can be a little bit tricky because your game can end up having like thinking you're in both tabs, and there's a lot of things that can go
Right.
wrong with multiplayer. Yeah, but if you can join on a completely different device that's beside the original one, that's the best way of testing.
Got
Yeah,
it.
simplest version is just be on your mobile while you're doing it.
Got it. Yeah, that's great. Okay. I got my big idea for the day. I think I'm gonna get going now. Thanks, guys.
All right, have a good one.
Alrighty, take it easy.
All right, see ya.
So these models you're using, are they assets, or were they generated by Rosie, or what?
Oh no, these are like Creative Commons assets. We linked in the
Okay, cool.
in the Discord chat where we got it from. Quaternius. They have some really good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking at quite a few for this upcoming game jam. I'm going to skip making some of the models myself. I'll obviously modify them. I just have a thing about using models as they come. Not that I have any problem with it. I feel like people are going to judge me for using them as they are, so I tend to modify them quite heavily.
Okay.
All right, Jason.
Yeah, the last game jam I wasted like a week making the assets, and then had like 3 days to kind of make the actual game.
Oh yeah. Assets. Yeah, it's a whole other craft. Right? People underestimate it sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's good though. If I didn't know, I keep forgetting how that you made that many of the assets. That's super impressive.
Yeah, I'm actually going to launch an asset library for Rosebud specifically, because I've got probably 2,000, 3,000 unused assets that I don't think I'll ever actually
3,000.
Oh wow.
Well, so I fell out of work for like 2 years at one point, and then I just sat down and just made assets. I was originally going to post them all for sale, but and then I decided I was going to make a game, so I couldn't sell them, because if other people get my assets before I make the game, there's this thing that happens where you get accused of stealing other people's assets even though you made them, because they're seen in other people's games. So it's happened quite a bit with other studios. So I'm trying to avoid that, but I just fell out of interest with that project, and there's huge amounts of assets there. I just want to post them all for Rosebud users, just to have something easy they can grab, but pretty much anything they need.
That's awesome.
That'd be awesome. Yes.
It was a 2 model a day challenge I was doing for like 2 years. I did 2 models a day, so there's whatever that is plus the 2 or 3 years since, just random stuff.
Hmm.
All right, my boats still look white, which is annoying. I'm going to share the game and see if maybe somehow you, Jason, or someone else can figure out.
So what is the issue with the boats? Are they just not being textured at all?
Yeah, so they just look white. These are 3D models
Okay.
I got from a website that Jason shared, and yeah.
I have heard other people having problems importing some models. It might be the texture format itself.
Yeah. I mean, I can try to upload some other version of it. Do you know, Jason, if OBJ can be a better format, or we don't support that?
It's not better. It's just it's simpler.
Oh yeah.
You can add.
In terms of file format size, OBJ is smaller, and that's really the only difference. And threeJS does support OBJ.
Yeah, no, it supports OBJ for sure. So you can try that out. See if it works.
Yeah.
That OBJ is pretty much the industry standard, so you'll find less messed up models in that format. OBJ also contains like thousands of megabytes of unused data, so it's a bit heavy. That's why GLB is suggested for most things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna try that. So I was
Quick-
trying
quick question.
GLB. Yep. Go ahead.
So, have you ever had rows get stuck on trying to solve like a bracket issue? Like a
Yes.
okay. I'm like that's the third time today. I was like wondering if there's a bug or something I'm doing wrong. So
No, it's not you. I mean, if it's like the same mistake, maybe you can let us know in the Rosebud support channel or some community support. But yeah, sometimes Rosie has some syntax. So hopefully she can actually fix it when you use the fix it button.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
If she
yeah,
does
that-
it commonly, just tell her to return both open and closing symbols, and she'll usually type out the entire thing rather than bit by bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Say
interesting.
that again. Sorry, because I'm trying to just click on the fix button. It doesn't work. Like I click like 20 times and it doesn't work. So I go to Grok, paste the code, ask him to write it back, correct it, and paste it back on rows. That's what I'm doing. So I want to make sure there is maybe some solution within rows. I don't know.
You can. So a lot of the time, what actually goes on is AIs like to assume that whatever's written there you wrote and you want to keep it.
Okay.
So when you ask her to fix something, sometimes it's good to append, say, I wrote none of this code. You can change whatever you want, and she'll often do a much better job at actually completely removing and changing code rather than trying to fix broken code.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. So, go ahead. Sorry.
Telling her to rewrite it also completely sometimes is the better option. She'll, instead of trying to fix it, she'll go in and she takes that as this is completely broken and you need to start from the beginning.
Okay. Okay, didn't know that. I'll try that next time. So good to know. Thank you.
Not a problem. It's just little LLM tricks that work. If you think about it, LLMs are trying to act like a human, and you as a human, if you were editing someone else's work, you'd try and preserve as much of it as possible to not offend them. Robots do exactly the same.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's good.
It'll be.
Oh, just another quick question since we are in silence. So, on this multi-file project, I know it's beta yet still. And I noticed that you cannot generate like a 3D assets. There's not like the option there. Is it like a therefore was there like a plan or was like a miss maybe? If I go in assets, I can only generate images and images without background. I cannot generate like a 3D asset.
Yes, that's a bug. Yeah, we have it reported. Thank you for bringing it up.
Oh,
We will
okay.
get that fixed soon.
Okay, do you wanna
There is
me
a
to report?
3D art generator.
Yes, but in certain projects it doesn't show up. I believe it may be multi-file
Yeah.
projects it doesn't show up.
Yeah,
Specifically
multi-file.
multi-file, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, no, it's a bit of a pain, but I've been using another tab to just generate it and then pulling it across from the asset, seeing as the asset tabs are all interconnected, it pulls from the same library anyway.
Okay, yeah. I'm doing that as well. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. We're gonna get that fixed.
No problem.
I'm liking that the apply button no longer wipes the hide state. That's good.
Yes, yeah, it makes it without that feature, it's not really like it's not really usable, right? So sorry about that.
Yeah, well, I had
gotta
something
fix
like 20 scripts in my thing, and I was doing edits the other night, and I ended up closing Rosebud like 5 times, and then reopening it a couple hours later because I was like, I just don't want to click all these buttons again. I think I'll
Yeah.
just wait until it's fixed, and then you fixed it, and
Yeah.
I've had no problems since. So
Okay, good to hear everything's working now. Yeah, sorry about
everybody's been talking about it, saying that it's perfect now. The
Great.
multi-file's pretty much completely usable. I think is there a scroll bar now, or is that still in the works?
that. Scroll bar for the files.
Yeah.
I don't think we do have one yet.
Because I know Kachizi specifically had problems with the fact that it's. I think she's got like 50 or 60 files in there, and she has to like zoom out the window to make all the content really small, so she can actually get to the bottom file.
Yeah.
She said it's not much of an issue. She's, it's it's whatever, but yeah, that's what's happening currently. I think she's the only person that's kind of breached the window limit, which is why you guys probably weren't aware of it.
Yes, yeah. You didn't expect people to get up to that many files
Yeah.
that quickly.
So I have a question on that. What is the best approach for multi-file? Is it better to... The way I'm doing is like I got like around 2,500 lines, and then I move like 500 lines to another file that makes sense, and then I keep like working on the main JS mostly, and then I keep moving once I get like close to the 3,000 line that it start having some problem, or is it better like just to break the whole main in smaller files and then work always in smaller files? I don't know. What is the best?
Sorry, I
approach?
didn't hear the last thing you said.
Okay, so is it best to just keep the main as big as you can and then just move whatever is going over the limit, or is it best to break down the main in several files from the beginning? Have like several small files.
Yeah.
It's always better to stay organized from the start rather than trying to modularize later. It's probably best to create the classes and modular files to start with.
Yeah, and Rosie should lean towards doing that on her
Yeah.
own to a degree now. Yeah.
To some degree, because I've noticed a lot of people will ask for features rather than classes, and if you ask for a feature, she will often stuff it into the main file rather than a new class.
Oh, really? Okay. Because when I was working on
Yeah.
Desert Dune Explorer, I didn't tell her any organization. I just wanted to see what she'd do on her own. I guess if you bring up something yourself.
There, well, if there's
Go on, sir.
already files in her context, I think she's more likely to create files because she tries to copy the structure. I've noticed multiple times that whatever structure you start with, she tries her best to stick to. So even coding syntaxes. So, like brackets, if you put the brackets underneath of the function declaration instead of beside it, she will copy that right through the script and put the brackets below. So she tries to copy your syntaxes, and I think it's the same with files as well. If you start with a project with 3 or 4 files in it, she will natively move them across. But if you delete the like AI chat files and stuff like that, she tends to think you want it all in one file.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so if people start it with the AI chat files and stuff like that in there, she's fine and she tends to modularize everything perfectly. But I found on my projects, if I remove the AI chat files and everything and just leave the main.js and start, she will start cramming stuff into the main and
Okay,
completely
yeah.
disregard the
Okay,
multi-file. I think
that does
that's
sound
just
right. Yeah.
context based.
Yeah, I think that is true. Yeah. So going on that, I think that is true. Try your best to, when you're starting, start with the regular flow on the default prompt bar on the homepage, or try and clone the multi-file template instead of start. Don't try not to start with one file. And if you do, you have to tell Rosie to split things into files manually. Well, yeah, but like
Okay.
Lord Bruce is saying, if your project is one file to start with and you're in multi-file, she's gonna try and stick to it, which means that you'll have to then be manually telling her what to move. And if you don't, then you will have one big file, which is not the best. And once your project's already big, it's going to be very hard to fix it once you get that far, unless you want to read the code.
Okay, that makes sense. So, so my question was more like, what is the best like to have rows work? Okay, what is the best setup to have rows work that like the most optimized? That maybe that was my question. Like having smaller files or like having just most of the things on main and then whatever is over the limit, only moving whatever is over the limit, or it doesn't matter. It's just gonna work fine with both scenarios.
On the multi-file, she's able. So, did you know you can hide files from her context?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
just click on the.
Yeah, the reason that's there is because it's expected that you break things down into smaller files.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is she reads all context available to her every time. There's not really an efficiency type state. She does actually kind of pick and choose what she'll read.
Oh, okay. She does that, so I don't have to. But why do I have to pick the files then? If she's gonna read, she's gonna pick whatever.
That's just to get around the LLMs have a limit where they can only support a certain amount of tokens, and that happens to be around about the 2600 line limit. And to get around that, you have to hide context files.
Okay, I see. Makes sense. Okay.
So she can only read 26-ish hundred lines at once. So if you hide files, it shortens her context, and you can add more context.
Okay. Got you. Thank you.
I'm gonna write a comprehensive guide for all this sort of stuff in the next couple of days, because I've been noticing that a lot of the questions I get in my private messages, because I get 5 or 6 private messages a day from users, and the majority of them seem to be around this sort of questions, which is what can Rosie read, what is a context window, all that sort of stuff. Because I explain to a lot of people context windows all the time, and I finish explaining to them, and I go, yeah, that's cool and all, but what's a context window? Well,
Yeah.
to a decent amount of people that makes sense, but to people that have never worked with AI at all, to them it's completely foreign. I think it throws them off a bit. I've got to say, she on my projects at least, she returns working code 99.9% of the time. The only time it's not working code is usually syntax errors. I've even noticed code functionality issues have gone down drastically since models have swapped.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last part. What do you say went down after the model swap?
The occurrence of bad code. So, when she does apply code, the previous model, you'd find that about, say, 20% of the time you'd end up with an error that needed to be fixed. Currently, it's only about maybe 5% of the time at the most that she's having that you get an error, which I find is really quite a decent change.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Being a coder too, I've been reading the code that she's been outputting, and it's definitely more professional. Previously, it did feel a bit like a bunch of GitHub code kind of jammed together. Now it feels like it's actually thinking a bit more about what it's doing.
Okay.
Also, she's willing to have discussions again, so that problem's fixed.
Yeah. Has anybody gone the like you asked for some her thoughts on something? She's like, let's get back to coding.
Yeah,
Or
that's pretty much all she would do to me for a good month there. I'd be like, so there's this huge issue I'm having with my game. Can you point out what the issue is? And she's like, I think we should stay on topic. Let's get back to game. Here's our suggestions. And you're like, oh, dude, I'd say to her, this is in relation to my game. And she'd be like, I'm a game dev assistant. Please choose one of these options. And I'm like, dude, one of the options is literally what I just asked. Stop.
Yeah. I wasn't good.
Now,
we put some work in to get rid of that behaviors.
Yeah, I suppose it's hard to get a. I mean, I understand what happened was it was like steering around wasting resources and stuff like that. But then she decided that everything was wasting resources if it wasn't her changing the code.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's a good protection to have. You don't want people sitting there talking about what their grandma had for breakfast yesterday. It's just a complete waste of your resources.
All right, Jason, just wanted to ask you, how's it going?
Yeah, but we'll see. Now I'm testing, so.
Okay, well, we can share a link and we can also test if you want some help.
Yeah.
Because I think we should probably end the live stream at this point, and if it works, it's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Is that a shader that you found, or is that skybox generated by her?
basically it was I found it and then she customized it. So what
Yeah,
I
that's
found
actually a really nice shader, that one.
Yeah, it is a good one. Yeah, I was very surprised. She was able to just
if you have the link,
drop
if
it
you
in.
have the link to that project, I might steal that because that's pretty much the atmosphere I was going for my racing game. Because the game I'm doing for Game Jam is pretty much the battle cars thing, but just 10 times better.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, and I'll drop it in the chat. Yeah, after Kira ends the stream. Yeah,
Alright.
not working yet. Need some debugging, but at least the
Got
SQL
it.
backend is ready.
All right, Jason, I'm gonna share the. Oh gosh, I just broke the bow game that was I almost made. That's funny. But maybe this one is actually gonna work. Oh yeah, Jason, can you open the bow game I made? I just shared it in the Discord. I was just making it in the background.
Okay, let me open it up.
Oh yeah, they are white.
Well, I actually fixed the colors, so there's also color map PNG, and I uploaded and I told Rosie to use it for the colors, and it's still random. I'm not sure what colors Rosie's actually using.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure how.
Yeah, so it was actually a separate texture that wasn't baked into the model.
Yeah, but you see, like all the other ships still looking like I think Rosie just used a couple of colors from that color map, but not all of them, and that's why like those ships are all really
No,
white.
she's probably not applying it to everything.
Yeah, so not exactly sure
But
how
I
it
mean,
works.
each model will be like a stack of pieces of the model, and she's only applying it to the first piece she found, probably.
Yep. All right.
Which will make sense because each of the ships are getting one color.
Yeah, no, that's what I also thought. We also had a question from Jerome that is there a learning center? I don't see one on the Rosebud website. The best place is our Discord. We have a tips and tutorials channel where all of us publish different tips and tutorials, and we also try to publish these streams and we make articles out of them. So yeah, join Discord and trying to be as helpful as possible. We have our great community support channel where, for example, Boots participates as well as our whole team. So that's the best place. All right, well, Jason, thank you for trying to make the game multiplayer. I'm pretty sure it's going to work at some point. Just takes a little longer sometimes.
Oh yeah,
depending
it
on
does,
the
yeah. For a game
complexity.
like this, yeah,
Yeah.
it'll take time. Yeah,
Depending on the complexity of
mainly
the
just
game.
debugging it.
Yeah, but we will definitely share it with you at some point. Thanks everyone for joining, and see you in the next